Hello, fellas and ladies. It is time to review Twisters, I suppose, spiritual sequel to the 90s thriller Twister. This one now has an extra S. And it follows some storm chasers, and they, chase some tornadoes in Oklahoma during a historic string of tornado happenings. The film was directed by Lee Isaac Chung, who is, of course, the director of Abigail Harm, and I guess he also directed Minari. We all exclusively know him for Minari. And similarly with the recent Quiet Place Day 1, which saw the director of Pig, Michael Sarnowski, jump from indie director to big blockbuster director, I don't think the transition was totally seamless. There was some clunky editing during these big tornado sequences, to be honest, that was pretty distracting. I also felt the film slugged in the first half, pretty hard. I was noting a genuine lack of any care at all. The opening sequence, while technically savvy, was pretty obvious and only had one outcome that was going to happen. A lot of the first, I want to say 50 minutes, is exposition and weightless character tension. The whole thing with Daisy Edgar-Jones and Anthony Ramos' character having history, and there's no real resolution to that. Glenn Powell's character, while beautiful and charming, and Glenn Powell and sex. Sorry, what was I saying? His character was just kind of a dick, and then there's a twist about his team and his character that just made me go, okay. Guess I count it as a spoiler, but it's not like a movie shifting thing. I also think the movie's attempts at showcasing the inherent tragedy at the heart of storm chasing didn't really pay off. They tried, kudos, but it didn't pay off. That all said, there's a clear momentum shift, I want to say, during a scene at a rodeo. Because from that point forward, this movie truly made me go, oh, the movies! It was like a switch was being flipped. I still think Lee Isaac Chung wasn't really cooking with sauce, and I really found no directorial singularity here, and the character stuff was pretty weak. But I watched this movie going, now this is a 90s style summer blockbuster, baby. It was this point further that the film did truly kick into a different gear. Even Daisy Edgar-Jones and Glenn Jesus Powell, their charm and talent shine through more, and their ability to lead a film, it felt more believable from them. Glenn Powell is one hell of a movie star, and I want to kiss him. What? I do think their chemistry mix up for the film's pretty dusty romance writing. The romance these two share was kind of nothing. And I cannot lie, Daisy Edgar-Jones' character was pretty forgettable. Especially in contrast to Glenn Powell's charismatic and wild character. Daisy Edgar-Jones' character felt like the movie was setting up what she could have been, and they do give her some emotional stakes that don't really pay off, but they exist, I suppose. Characteristically, she has next to nothing going on, and Daisy is able to do some heavy lifting with very naturalistic acting, but the character is very bleh. Also, I suppose now's a good time to talk about how it connects to the original Twister film. It doesn't really. There's one reference I caught to the original, but other than that, for all intents and purposes, it's another film about tornadoes that happens to have Twister in the title. There was something with Daisy Edgar-Jones' character that made me go, oh, she's going to be related to a character from the first, and she just wasn't. Just totally fine, but there was a build-up that was just landing on nothing. I gotta say, I feel overall very similarly to the original Twister that I do with this one. And then there's nothing overtly mind-blowing about it, but it's not really trying to be anything more than a summer blockbuster. I do think visually it was fine looking. I did appreciate the natural lighting, and the exterior cinematography was decent, and I do think would have been worse under a less competent director. But I didn't come away being so impressed with the visual language of the film. It just existed. I also did kind of enjoy the country score it had going. It gave real character to the setting. Setting is just fucking Oklahoma, but it gave the film a grounded tone. But the meat of the film is obviously the tornado sequences, and I do think the movie is at a peak when it comes to these moments. Tornadoes in the film do feel like animals that the protagonist must evade or stop. There is an inherent terror and dread in these sequences. Seeing a bystander getting sucked up while they scream in fucking agony, or seeing a town get wiped out slowly. Nothing about these sequences feel polished, maybe blockbusterized at worst. I clenched during these moments, although maybe not to the extent that I clenched watching the first film. These are certainly the moments when the film hit the hardest, and it's why most people see the movie, so hey, good on you. But I can tell that the movie was going for that classic 90s era summer blockbuster, you must see it on the big screen kind of thrills, and it is successful. I do think Lee Isaac Chung's direction isn't anything special, and the characters and storytelling are pretty forgettable, but it's popcorn entertainment that is successful at being just that, and that does seem to be the goal of these movies, so I can't really fault it too much if I'm enjoying myself. And so for that, I'm going to go ahead and give it 7 Glenn Powells out of 10. Alrighty, that's it. That's the review of the Tornado movie. Like, subscribe, and share. And what? Oh no! What the frick?